What up, world? It's your boy Drew. I'm salty as fuck right now because we done did this whole Drake Nonstop breakdown and they took down the record because it had some kind of flagged or tagged. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna give you the entire breakdown because I do want all this information out there, throw the ideas out there, but we're gonna have to be just jump cutting between the analysis with no music. So hopefully you still kind of get the message. Hopefully it's not too jarring or the editing isn't too crazy. But I wanted to get the information out there. Hopefully you find it helpful. Let me know, is it possible to be doing these breakdowns where you're not actually hearing the song, or do we have to just make sure we do songs that aren't flagged so you can hear along with it? But wanted to shoot this quick video explaining why you're not hearing the actual beat. Drake and OVO is coming from my head. Enjoy the information. Hopefully it's helpful. See you on the other side. All right, world, what's up? Today we're going to analyze the song structure, vocal tone, organization on the rap level of Drake's new anthem, Nonstop. Now, this is not one of those videos where you're just coming in to be like, Drake sucks. Oh, did he write it, though? It's all good. I appreciate that you care about your opinion on Drake. This is an analysis from a purely educational standpoint. This is for educational purposes. Also, just for us to have a conversation about how these big records, these big anthems are getting made. And this is just one man's opinion. You can also hear my opinions at How to Rap Drew on Twitter, at How to Rap Drew on Instagram. But we're going to break this down because I do think that this is a great song to learn vocal tone tricks and kind of what I think of as the negative space of the vocal, meaning the parts that we're not hearing, but our sort of mind's ear is hearing. I was very impressed by this record. Something I didn't think necessarily Drake had in him. Just in the sense of like, he's kind of recently, especially with like God's Plan and things like that, been kind of known for getting the anthemic, the big anthem kind of feel to songs. And in the past, he had some great records where it was sort of chilled back. You know, it wasn't all in your face. I'm thinking of like the Motto and tracks like that. And it's good to see Drake come back to that. Obviously, extremely talented individual. So we're going to talk about Nonstop. Let's run through this joint. All right, so we start with this kind of introduction of, here's a couple bars, empty space. Here's a couple other bars, empty space. So the first couple bars, he's just letting that ride, and it's sort of introducing the flow. After this 4 bars sort of run around, he gives the what will be the chorus, which is really just a 1 or 2 word chorus. Now, in the case of a simple beat like this, often that's the best way to approach it, in my experience. If it's just a riding, simple, mid-tempo beat, I don't, as a writer, as a songwriter, have to do more than I need to do. Often, as a songwriter, I want to do as little as possible and let the beat do the work for me. Now, a lot of lyrical miracle hip-hop elitists be like, no, I'm supposed to take over the instrumental and do all this stuff. Certainly in the case of Drake on this album, he demonstrates that he can do that as well. We can think about Sandra's Rose. We can think about Emotionless. You know, it is kind of a by-track basis, but this particular track, what we're going to see him doing is letting the negative space work to his advantage by filling in those space with ad-libs and this sort of call and response thing. Call and response is one of the most well-known cliche parts of rap. Hi, my name is what? My name is who? Hip hop hooray. Ho. The ability with which you as an artist can do call and response in a unique and interesting fashion, it really demonstrates not only your experience as a rapper, but just your creativity level. And so I think that this is a really great example of call and response, where he's going to have his main vocal, this is the main part, and then which I kind of think of as a Wayne thing, but we'll get back into that in a little bit. All right, so this is really where he starts to get into, here's the main vocal, the response section, right? Now, the reason I say that that's kind of like a Wayne thing is Wayne was there was a section in Wayne's career, especially in like the drought era, things like that, where he would kind of mumble off the last part of the bar. He would kind of, the hardest part of the bar would be like, I'm just going to say it like this. Almost, I used to say it was like I'm so good I'm getting bored, which has kind of become the natural way that rappers rap now, right? The kind of new swag when you have the hardest bar is almost saying it like, yeah, like, what is it? The Rick Ross remix. What did Wayne say? He said, call me, bring me all the beef. I'm the motherfucking pressure cooker. You know what I mean? So Drake is kind of using a mixture of the call and response format with the saying it under your breath kind of style. And I personally, as a rapper, am trying to expand that ability, and that's a really good tactic to have in 2018 rap. Can you say the hardest bar in your whole song almost as an afterthought? Almost as a, yeah, oh yeah, I forgot. I meant to say that. That's what I meant, right? And say it in a cool way, in a catchy way, the way Drake is doing here. So we're now in we're 45 seconds in. We've been introduced to the chorus. We've got kind of what we're going to be hearing throughout the track. Like, da 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 da. Right? Last thing. That's a melodic way of rapping without singing. Right? We know Drake, the singing nigga. Right? Got it. But the fact that he's able, and if you watch my YG analysis from the other day, I talk about this as well. You as a rapper, if you can find a way to regular rap, meaning no notes, no melody, but add a melodic element to it, that often is what's going to give that rapidy rap style a little bit more energy, a little bit more listenability, a little bit more catchiness. Now he's, all right, first time he's going to switch the flow. We're about a minute in, and now he's going to switch the flow. We're going from the da-da-da-da-da to Now that line I got to just mention for my own, like I remember when I heard this song the first time, I was like, damn, right? And this is kind of modern rap, right? It may not be, it's not a big L line, is it? But in the context of the entire energy of the track, it sounds like the hardest bar you've ever heard. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think partially because, he's addressing something that's kind of he's connected with. Maybe I'm biased because I'm light skinned. You can say it in the comments. But also the way he delivers dark nigga. He delivers it almost like a kid, like a young, like a teenager just thought of a hard bar in a freestyle. I mean, I'm a wig splitter. Yeah, I'm light skinned, but I'm still dark nigga. Like, you know what I mean? It's got that like cafeteria cipher vibe to it. And I don't know how many takes he did on that. I'd be curious about that, but it sounds like that might have been the first take, and they were just like, yo, that was actually hard. Because it wasn't a perfect delivery. Usually with those hard punchlines, barring what we said earlier, you kind of want to be on the, yeah, I'm light skinned, but I'm still a dark nigga. You know what I mean? Oh, add a little gruffness to it. But I think the fact that it was delivered with sort of an ease, it adds to the energy of that bar. Did it again. Didn't go for the easy. Most of us beginner rappers, most of us up and coming artists, when we have the hard line, you want to deliver, I'm a wild ass don't, you know what I mean? But that takes you out of the vibe of the track. That takes you out of the energy of the track, which is understated. And as we said, the sort of Wayne influence, I'm saying the hardest shit you've ever heard in your life. But I'm so cool. It's getting boring, honestly. I'm a wildest dog dude, right? You know what I'm saying? So I think that when I hear this, I know for myself, and I'm practicing this currently, is, don't go for the easy go, which is the hard line has to be delivered like, yeah, on a block. You know what I mean? That's kind of old school stuff. There's certainly tracks for that, but I think he does a good job to reel it in. Restraint is the word we're looking for. Lets the sample do what it needs to do. That's a common thing on the Scorpion album. When I'm hearing this, I'm hearing he's trying to switch rap to maybe go back to more sample-based stuff, but putting the sample in the middle of the beat. You can think about Nice for What. You could think about the one with Nicki. So there's definitely samples in this joint, but they're coming in and out, and he's kind of letting the sample do what it needs to do, right? It's not quite like some Dipset stuff where, you're rapping to whatever the sample is saying. It's not like, oh boy, put a shell in your boy. Now, let me just say something, because having coached people in rap for a long time, I find that people will hear a track like this and be like, oh, well, I can just not have a chorus or just say like two things, and that's my chorus, and I'm good, because Drake did it on Nonstop. What I get out of this is not necessarily that my go-to as a writer, as a songwriter, should be, let me just, if I don't know what to say for the chorus, let me just not say anything and then just say rolling, not a stopwatch, like Drake did. This is, to me, a very conscious decision on his part. Like I said, partially because of the context of the album, but also because the beat, the way it's constructed, it's like a train catching its rhythm and just so the beat again is doing a lot of the work for you. The motto kind of similar. He does a similar thing. So I would hesitate to ever suggest that it's a good idea for the first reaction to write a chorus like this all the time. It's only in very specific contexts, and it's a creative risk no matter what. Drake took a creative risk by having the chorus just be a couple lines. And I've heard a couple people complain. I love it. I think this is a great record. I think it's my favorite track on this album, for sure. There's some other great ones, but it's my favorite by far. And maybe it's because of all the things we're talking about, where I'm like, he didn't do more than he needed to do. He let the music be what it is. It's when you think about artists, especially beginning artists or lyrical miracle hip hop elitist artists, they're always overthinking the record, and you can hear it. I know me as a writer, I struggle not to overthink the record, which is why recently and as I'm building more studio stuff for mixtapes, albums, all this stuff we're up to, I'm always just like, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Best songs are made in the flow. And I don't mean the flow like the rhythm. I mean the flow like the mental flow of I'm creating an environment. A song is an environment. A song is a room that you're entering in. And some rooms are big, cavernous, Hall of Mirrors, Versailles level. Some rooms are small, tight, confined. Some rooms got lava lamps and mood lighting. Some rooms, you know what I mean, is where you get down. Like, you're creating an environment. Goes back to what we talked about in the Eminem Kill You. You're building a world. You're building a room. You're making a room. And in this room, we don't need that many words on the chorus. Another flow he's introducing is the start of verse 2. Always got to make sure that you're aware as a writer of where the flows are being changed, what flows are being chosen. We're at the start of verse 2, and this is kind of where we're at. Again, melodic rap, not singing, but there's a melody to it. And it, you know what I mean, it wouldn't be that hard for him to add a note, right? Future took the business and ran it for me, right? It's not that hard to do it, but he's not doing that, and that's a skill within itself. Rap with a melodic hint, a taste of melody, but it's still rapping. It's still bars. It's still like I'm speaking normally. I'm not hitting a note. You know what I'm saying? Nice little vocal change there as well. Still keeping that same flow, but changing the voice every once in a while. That's I believe bar number 7 of this sort of call and response of verse. All right, this just as I'm listening to this, it reminds me of the Drake of If You're Reading It, It's Too Late, in a way. Again, hints of melody, but still rap. 10 bands, 50 bands, 100 band, 100 and like same kind of vibe. Now we're not here to talk about Quentin Miller, and I'm not getting into that whole can of worms. I'm just pointing out that I can hear the influence and sort of how the Voltron, or whatever you want to call it, the black hole of styles that Drake is able to consume this is coming back out in this record, but now with the sort of modern Memphis Take Keith Drake that he's been doing for the last couple, the look around and all that. Classic rap tactic. Want to make the middle of your verse more catchy? Just repeat a word, 4 bars. The kind of modern style is something, 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 yeah. Something, 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 yeah. In this case, he's doing it for real, but it makes it feel like almost another chorus or a bridge, even though it's not. This is, again, that voice, that Wayne. I'm delivering these bars, but I'm sounding like I'm getting bored. That's the modern flow. It's something definitely worth practicing. Okay, so, look, let's kind of review and look at the bigger picture here. How many of us rappers would overwrite this beat and overwrite this song? I know I would, because I threw a couple bars at it. I was like, maybe I should do a Nonstop remix. You know what I mean? Throw something on it. Threw a couple bars at it, and 4 bars in, I'm like, bro, you're over rapping. You know what I'm saying? Like you're doing too much. Let it breathe. Get that negative space in. So while we can debate all day about Drake, the album, the battle, all that kind of stuff, for another day, a good positive thing to take out of this and to study in this track, speaking for myself, is how to let a beat do the work, a simple beat do the work, and how to not over rap and maintain something that's really catchy, that can play well in the clubs, that is pretty straightforward, doesn't necessarily have a large message, which we talk a lot about in these analysis. Like a lot of these songs, there's not a clear. It's not. I Gave You Power by Nas. You know what I'm saying? This is not emotionless. It's a track that's meant to ride out to. It doesn't necessarily have to have that clear logical message. How do I sit there as a writer and not underwrite the beat, but let the beat stand where it is and let it be what it is? How do I not overthink as an artist? I think there's a really good example of that. I think he does that by using vocal tricks in a unique and interesting way, call and response, the I'm almost bored with this line kind of energy. And I think that he knows when to let the chorus just be a couple words. Now, we may do other analysis of some things on Scorpion. I don't know. I'm trying to decide. Let me know if y'all have any opinions. But this is a very good example of a song that can help you to know when to pull back on the overwriting that we as rappers and people learning how to flow tend to do. And it's a lot harder than we think it is just because it's so simple. Genius is expressing a complex thought in a simple way. I forget who said that, maybe Einstein, somebody like that, but I mean, it's something worth thinking about, right? I'm not here to debate if Drake is really a genius. I'm just saying. So that is Nonstop. Just some thoughts on it from the big homie Drew, Big Drew Dog. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at How to Rap Drew, at Twitter, How to Rap Drew. I'll be posting my stuff going around the world. I just got off tour. I'll be back on tour. I'll be in Europe. Anybody watching this, holla at me, Europe. Maybe I'll come link up with y'all. I'm starting in Berlin, and we'll be around. Also on Twitter, I'm active on there, so you can always get at me in there at How to Rap Drew. Be sure to subscribe if you like this content. Be sure to like. And I'll see you on the next one. It's a rolling, not a stopwatch. Shit don't ever stop.
Mark it up, mark it down. No matter what, I'm still around. Moon is up, sun is down. 100 X, I got it now. Mark it up, mark it down. No matter what, I'm still around. Moon is up, sun is down. 100 X, I got it now. 100 X, 100 X.